Hi, Natalie. I want to clarify something with your floor plans. It's something we often encounter when we are processing clients' floor plans to the Fairs MI Planner. The first thing we do, of course, is check the major dimensions, which would be this width and this length. Now, we're showing here the length is 47 feet and the width is 47 feet and the length is 82, which when we look at what we call the aspect ratio or the geometry of those two together, we can see that it's incorrect because the length is much shorter at 82 feet than the width is at 47. So then when we look at your process floor plan, it looks quite different. But in fact, the aspect ratio in this case is correct. And if we go ahead and project over your floor plan original with its aspect ratio, we can see that the two are quite different. Often it's that somewhere along the line the floor plan has been shrunk to be fit upon an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and that's what occurs. And that's okay for sending out general information, but when we want to start planning out placements and distances between doors and other things, that shrinking down like that becomes problematic. And so that's basically it. We've got your floor plan ready for you, and I'll demonstrate some of the things about how this helps in terms of accurate setting up, but that's about it for the aspect ratio. Okay, so now we've got your corrected floor plan, and one of the first questions I'd be asking is the stage. Is it movable? Or is it in a permanent space? Of course, if it's in a permanent space, we want to make sure these distances with our new floor plan dimensions is correct, so it's in the right spot and it's the right size. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for a second, and I'm going to show you some other things here. Let's look at what your tabletops might look like. So zooming in, I'm going to show you that you can click on individual tabletops and they can be deleted, removed. You can color code them. You can go over here to the left and you can assign them the exhibitor name or vendor name and the product and any other information you want with them and in the description. And when you hit OK, it becomes part of the drawing. And when you hit report, it generates right then and there an Excel spreadsheet exhibitor list for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on, let me zoom back out, there we go, and we're going to look at 10 by 10 booths. So we turn those on. Again, the same thing applies. You can click on individual booths and you can resize them. Let's see, let's go ahead and click on this one and go over here and make it a 10 by 20. And we can change the number to actually a multi-line tag, a name of the who's in the booth if we want, but I'm going to leave it as a number, and then when I hit OK, there it goes. If I don't like that larger number, which is useful when you're doing revisions, that it'll let you know easily what you've been working on, but I'm going to change it back to a 4-point. That's how easy it is. Just click it like that. Now let's go ahead and look at something else about that. So if I'll show you how this is done. That's pretty interesting. Here's your pod control, and so I've set the different aisle and booth information in here, and all I do is simply drag this icon over into place, and there it is. And then let me fine tune it. Just click a button there, click my keyboard, and now it's in place. And if I want to delete to make access to the bar and kitchen better, maybe I want to make this entrance accessible, there's the same layout we had previously. Let's take that off, and the next thing, let's go ahead and put the stage back in. So there's your stage back in, and let's look at 4-foot rounds and what they may look like. And we can use that same, what I called it over here, the pod control. That's how I created these two. So you can do automatic numbering and automatic grouping and then just delete out what you don't need, which is what I did around the stage area. And in the case of these tabletops, they are what we call icons. And right there is your 4-foot round, but it's with the chairs. And we've already calculated out that with a 4-foot round, you needed a 7-foot diameter to take in consideration your chair spaces. But for now, that's about it. You may have seen me looking in with this layer command, which is the next step after you've been working with this program for a while. Typically, when you're a beginner, you just work on one layer, and you can do multiple objects on here. But especially on the carnival grounds, the layers is really interesting because you can put in things like where your dumpsters go, where your sponsor banners go, things that you may not want to have printed out for your brochure or for the public, but that you need to keep track of as part of the layout. And layers is very useful in there. It's very easy to use, and we can teach you that too when you're ready. So that's it. I just wanted to give you kind of a little preview before we do our presentation demo, just so some of these questions that I have and maybe some questions you have, you can get ready before we begin. Thanks so much.